playing some games, you know. Where would you be without solitaire? Every mobile device, every computer actually, on the face of the planet needs to have a game of solitaire, because it's the one thing, you know, you never ever get tired of it really. Anytime, day or night, whatever you're doing, you got 10 minutes free to spare, game of solitaire, pass the time, no problem. The boredom killer right now is a bit of Need for Speed, which plays alright. Steer with the accelerometer, a few gestures on the screen to activate various things. Drift! Oh, 360, I suck so bad. Get some nitro. Nitro around the corner, that was a bad decision. Oh, near miss, double score. So now I'm trying to play ass backwards. You can see he runs. Okay, so I went straight through the corner of a building just then. I don't know what that was about, but I'm just that good, I guess. There's a stop sign. But yeah, the point here is games play fairly well, and I mean, this is, you know, the graphics are maybe sort of PlayStation level, but maybe a bit more than PlayStation. Voiceover there, interrupting my video. Interestingly, there's a bit of an example of how to show off a multitasking. The game players, so we're going to the multitasking mode there, we'll switch out to another app. The game will automatically pause, so if we go back to it, you see it's in a pause state there, and there we go, that one. And there you go, back to it. But you can also actually still play it in that little minimised mode there, if you really want to. I don't know why you would, but you can, just to show you that this is full-on proper multitasking. But yeah, Need for Speed, proper 3D gaming racetrack. Good frame rate, very responsive, the accelerometer picks up nicely. Unfortunately, I suck astonishingly poorly. But, plays alright. Oh, hello there. I didn't see you come in. Just doing a bit of light reading. The Art of War by Sun Tzu. Actually, in all seriousness, I've just been... it's got the Kobo ebook reader and store on there, so I've been... you get Art of War for free when you sign up, for the moment anyway. So I've just been going through it, seeing how well that actually performs as an e-reader, and you know, page turns are nice and quick. You can change the size of the text, and you can change the font from serif to sans serif, and all that sort of stuff you should expect to do on an e-reader. And I've just been reading a chapter or two on the screen, and the screen is very crisp, very bright, very clear. The size helps too, because this is, you know, one of those 7-inch tablets, so it's one-handed, sort of, you know, the size of a regular paperback novel, the Dead Tree stuff. So reading it feels very, very natural, very, you know, it feels like it should. The device kind of disappears, and all you're left with is the text on the screen you're reading. And so here's an interesting thing I just realised about the hardware. Now, in the first video I pointed out the hardware buttons up the top there, the power, the volume buttons, and a play-pause hardware button there as well. And you know, the power makes sense, the volume buttons make sense, they should be there. But I didn't really think the hardware play-pause button was really necessary, because I figured, you know, I thought to myself, well, if you're playing something, you're using the device, why wouldn't you just press pause on the player, on the device itself? But I've just been laying down in the chair here listening to a podcast, and it suddenly dawned on me why that button there is actually useful.
Promo code MG.
Because it can play and pause the podcast or whatever I'm playing without having to turn the thing on, load up the player, find the key and do it. Makes sense to me. Also works when you're actually using a different app to the player, so you don't have to switch back to the player to then pause or start your music or your podcast or anything. So I can be in the web browser here and
install the app, you create a little,
go back and forth. So yeah, I thought the hardware play button was useless when I first spotted it, but now I realise I wish my other devices had one. Alrighty gang, I'm running out of light in which to film, and the BlackBerry Playbook here has just reached 8% battery. I'm about 9.5 hours into this trip. I'm sore, I'm tired, I'm grumpy, my back's sore from moving all the time, and you know, it's yeah. But I've been happily distracted by this, and you know, the battery is going to die in the next 45 minutes or so, I'd say, depending on what I do with it. I've got, maybe 20 minutes of a podcast I'm listening to go, so it should make it through that pretty easily. So it's time to talk about my overall impressions of the device. Well, as you've been able to tell in the video so far, I've been loving it. The interface is beautiful, it's smooth, it's silky, it's buttery, it's elegant. The bezel swipe gestures are natural and they make sense. When I first got told about it, I thought, I'm never going to remember that. Which edge do I have to swipe from to do this thing again? But they all make sense. They're all very logical, very natural, and you don't really think about it. You just start doing it as you're playing with the device, and it all makes perfect sense. And no matter how many programs I loaded up, no matter what I was doing with it, no matter how many times I switched back and forth, it never ever slowed down. It didn't chug once. It remained absolutely silky smooth, and everything was utterly responsive throughout the entire experience, which it's almost unheard of. Oh, there goes my phone. I must be getting some cell signal again. But yeah, it's wonderful. So what don't I like about it? I don't like that little power button up there. It's tiny, it sits flush, and it's a little bit hard to press. You get used to it, but you still have to press it quite hard to get it to do anything. Some people have found you have to use their nail, apparently. I don't have to use my nail, I just, press on it, and that's okay. But it's quite tough. But the good news is you only have to press it to turn the thing off. When you want to bring it out of standby, you can press the button, or you can just go shoom across the entire screen and it bursts to life again. So, you're not going to be running into that too often. Yeah, other than that little button, and other than the fact that the screen is an absolute fingerprint magnet. I mean, most glossy screens are, and displays look better with glossy screens. It makes everything more vivid and stuff. So I'd rather have the glossy screen and have to wipe it down every couple of hours than have a non-glossy, more dull screen. The job they've done with the user interface is just spectacular. It is the best user interface I've used on a tablet device, and I've used regular Android tablets. I've tried the honeycomb ones and the iPad, of course. That's, I like the iPad very, very much, but it feels very sterile compared to this. This feels sort of alive and fun and exciting and very, very quick, and the way it handles multitasking is gorgeous. And yeah, the BlackBerry Playbook, check it out. It is an astonishingly good tab, and this thing is going to be wildly popular, I think. I really, really honestly think that this is going to give all those fancy honeycomb Android tablets a real run for their money. They're going to have to pick up their game in a big way. It's even going to threaten Apple a bit. Whoosh, smack them around the mouth. Oi, wake up, better catch up. 5:53 p.m, which means I've been on this train now for more than 10 hours using this BlackBerry Playbook, and I have just hit 3% battery. I just got through the last podcast I'm obviously going to listen to on this device today, and any minute now it's going to fall over and die. But it made it 10 hours of use. Well done, RIM. Research in motion. You clever Canadian bastards. You've made quite a nice bit of kit. Anyway, I am Blunty. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time. 1 hour left on this journey, and I'm going to check into a hotel and pass out for another 10 hours.
So maybe it's not much of a distraction having the photographers in there, but when it's something really
still
sensitive
reading
like
zero,
this, with the Bin Laden thing.
And it's still
I
playing my
I don't know.
podcast.
I would just, again, maybe it's the photojournalist in
It's a
me.
magic battery.
It's kind of like the